Ariana V. I notice people talk about the Scientology community in Clearwater and Los Angeles. How is the community in New York City and Chicago? The reason I ask is because nobody ever mentions those two major cities in America. The org in New York City is huge, and the one in Chicago is like a hole in the wall that's falling apart. The reason that nobody really talks too much about any Scientology communities outside of Los Angeles or Clearwater is because they hardly exist in any area outside of those two cities. Those are major concentrations of Scientologists. There are probably, in LA, there's probably a few thousand, and in Clearwater, there is probably a couple thousand, all throughout Florida and the surrounding neighborhoods and whatnot. There's a strong Scientologist presence in Clearwater, especially if you add in all the Sea Org members, because at the base, the flag base there's easily 1,000 Sea Org members there. And same in Los Angeles. There's easily 1,500 Sea Org members there, likely, something like that. But when you go to city areas where there are churches of Scientology, like here in Denver, or in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or in Tampa, Florida, well, not Tampa, Florida, because that's pretty close to Clearwater, but like New York City, Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Kansas City, any of these local places, the one in Hawaii, or the one in Moscow even. These are not major concentrations of Scientologists. The local churches is what I call them, or the class 5 orgs, as Scientology calls them, have communities of maybe 200 to 300 people. And hardly any of them actually go into their churches on a regular basis. They'd have to do some kind of call-in blitz to get them to all show up at one time to go to, say, a Scientology event or something like that. And that is the extent of it, because, as we know, Scientology has shrunk over the decades, and it's pathetically small now. And these local churches are trying to do these drives to build themselves up to be these ideal organizations that require, over 100 staff to man up these new church buildings that these guys are trying to purchase and renovate. And when they do, one for one, they have to import people from other areas, other geographical zones, because they don't have enough Scientologists in their local area to staff up their own organization. And this is supposed to be the big, burgeoning, fastest growing religion on the planet, and it's like, no, it's not. And these little tiny communities, if you want to call them that, generally speaking, when it comes to active numbers of Scientologists, from my experience in the Western United States, there's a regular number of people who are doing services, doing courses, doing the auditing, coming in and doing stuff, of about 100 people, maybe max, on a weekly basis, like coming into these churches, and that's it. So, you have these cities like Denver, it's got millions of people in it, 100 Scientologists actively doing Scientology. That's about it. That's the picture. So, there you go.